Shalom, y'all. I'm back. I know it took me a little bit longer than I thought, but so I have been waiting to have this discussion with y'all a while now. Since I would say it's been about 3 years. I just haven't had the time. Honestly, I do so much, but I'm gonna be putting in an effort to go live more often because it's hard for me to give y'all all of the information that I give in my inbox. It's easier for me to do through email, but the Facebook inboxing thing is pretty hard. It's kind of easy for me to go based off of whatever comments y'all might leave or whatever emails you send me because I converse more through email than phone and anything else. So today, this conversation is pertaining to pregnancy. And this conversation is not only for women. This conversation is for married couples who wish to have children. Okay, so um, for you who have been here for a while, you know that I had 6 losses before I had my son. So we had a baby in 2021, and her name is Yafe, and she was stillborn. That was my first successful pregnancy, and that was the first time that I had a baby. Okay, so last year I was 37, and that's whenever I had Ashar. Okay, and I had him here at home in the bathtub. Me and my husband did an unassisted home birth. Okay, y'all, give me one second. And that was my second successful pregnancy and my first successful birth. Okay, so I'm gonna let y'all know what my husband and I did to be able to conceive, to carry with a healthy pregnancy where I did not have any complications at all. The doctors tried to label me high risk because I was 37. So they sent me to Savannah. Thank you so much. Blessings. So they sent me to Savannah to be evaluated. When I got to that hospital, honey, that doctor told me, don't come back here. You are not high risk because y'all got to understand that the hospital is going to get paid more money from shipping you to this doctor. I mean, the doctor is going to get paid from shipping you to this doctor, and doing all these tests on you. But I was perfectly healthy, and the method that I'm going to give you to conceiving healthily, carrying healthily, and having a successful pregnancy. What I'm going to give you the story first, but the method that I'm going to give you is the reason why I was able to get pregnant. And I've never had an issue with conceiving, but going all the way through the pregnancy. Okay. So anyhow, the high risk doctor sent me back home and told me don't come back. It's nothing wrong with you. So what did I do? Okay. So if you know Brother Yaki, he talks about a high fruit diet. Okay. Fruit does not mean raw stuff like watermelons, peaches, and apples, which some of us cook that also, but that's not necessarily what fruit is. Peas, beans, lentils, tomatoes, these are also fruit. Okay. So what I did is I was given by the Most High what I call the bean method. The bean method also consists of lentils and peas. It is a legume diet. Okay. So the way that I knew that the possibility of the bean diet's benefits even existed was me and my husband were living in poverty in 2018. I'm talking about very low poverty, and we were getting ready to move to Tennessee, didn't know it. And I remember that the Spirit told me get beans and rice. And we were living with this African guy. He was from the Congo, and he was our roommate. So he would have all these different types of recipes and things, and he didn't have a lot of money, but he was eating every day. So I started to copy what he was doing, and I would go and get beans, and every now and then I would have enough money to get like a $3 or $4 pack of chicken and add it in there. But it got to the point to where we couldn't eat any meat because we didn't have money for it or any flesh. Hello, how you doing? Cheeto, thank you for joining me. So what ended up happening was I would buy onions, avocados, and beans. I would get like 5 different kind of beans, and I would make different stews and different soups, and we would eat that with rice every night. And the next thing you know, I was pregnant, y'all. But I remember we was doing the nasty, and I heard inside of my head, I'm 38 now, and I heard inside of my head, what if I'm pregnant right now? And all the while, that was the day that I got pregnant. Now, the way I know when I get pregnant is because the Most High always shows it to me in a dream. So that was the confirmation. You're welcome. And so yeah, push came to shove, and I ended up being pregnant in my tubes. But the breakthrough in that is whenever my husband was young, a child, the doctor told him that he wouldn't be able to have children because of an accident that he had. And I never thought that I would be able to have children because I had health issues. I was severely overweight. I was severely depressed. I had huge anger issues. I and my womb needed to be healed. So thank you so much. So whenever I went on this bean diet, it started to heal me and my husband. See, doctors try to take women and tell us your body needs the work. Your body needs the work, but that's not necessarily true, and that's not necessarily what the Most High was telling me about my relationship. But it just wasn't something for me to throw up into my husband's face that maybe both of us needs healing. It was just for me as a healer by profession to heal both of us. When you heal your belly, then your loins, your womb will become healed also. All right, so the first thing that I did, give y'all the method. The first thing that I did was I started to meditate because my sacral chakra was all out of whack. I was carrying rape, molestation, ideas of sexual immorality. And if you want to know more about how I was perverted in my mind whenever it came to sex, then I can talk about that in another video. I just need you to comment if you want to know. If not, it'll come along by and by. But I had to get rid of those things. I had to get rid of the fear of lack. I had to get rid of all of these things of feeling inadequate and saying, dang, I done lost 6 babies. Why would this man want to stay with me? You know what I'm saying? Like, why wouldn't he just leave me? I had to get all of that stuff out of my system so that I could conceive and stay pregnant. Okay. So the meditation cleared my sacral chakra, and I would meditate over frequencies on YouTube. Also, you have to find the ones that you trust, and that stuff pulled me out of what was going on inside of my womb. Okay, mentally. All right. Then after that, I went back to the beans, the lentils, the peas. I went on a Daniel fast, and I did not eat any flesh. Okay. no flesh, and that would reset me. So I would do recipes like maybe two bean soup. It might have red beans and black beans inside of it with some onions and some carrots. Or either I would do something like lentils and fries. That's one of my favorite things to eat. I would make the lentils either taste like chili, or I would make the lentils taste like ground beef from tacos. And I would always add turmeric, because turmeric and ginger together will kill cancer. Try it. You will be blown away. So I had experience with that. So I will always add turmeric in. Then I started to add turmeric and cayenne pepper. Okay, let's pause for a second and let's talk about the cayenne pepper. Cayenne pepper is something that will break up blood clots inside of your body. If your blood is not flowing right, you can have all kind of issues in your heart, your legs, your brain. Cayenne pepper will break all of that up. So I was trying to prevent myself from having preeclampsia, because, like I said, being that I was 37 years old, the people at the doctor's office were constantly trying to push me to believe that I was high risk. Whenever I'm telling them I'm fine, child, it's nothing wrong with me. I had no issues at all. And another reason why I know I had no issues is because I had just had a baby taken out of me before I left Tennessee. I had to have surgery because I had a baby that was growing out of the side of my uterus. So I knew my health was on point. So I started adding the cayenne pepper because if you have a stroke or if you're having a heart attack, if you put some cayenne pepper in your mouth, it will stop. I'm going to tell you more about that after I tell you about the method. You need a high fruit diet. It will really, really help you out so much. There are so many benefits that come from eating different types of beans, different types of peas, and different types of lentils, that my body had no choice but to adjust to pregnancy. My body had no choice but to adjust to wellness. All of the extra fat that was on me, that was keeping me from staying pregnant, it dropped off. And the places where I wanted fat to be is where the fat would stay. I was in a completely healthy place, and I was constantly feeding myself beans, peas, lentils, so that I could be pregnant and stay pregnant. Not only that, I wanted to be able to have an easy delivery, because the Most High had already let me know that He didn't want me to go to the hospital to have this baby, that I was going to have this baby at home. So I'm up here thinking that my mama and my sister was going to be there, my auntie was going to be there, it was going to be a bunch of music and praying and dancing around, and my husband was going to be there, and that it was going to be all this. No, it was an unassisted birth. It was me and my husband, and I did most of the laboring by myself. And then whenever it was time for me to push the baby out, then my husband would come into the bathroom and he would help me while I was pushing the baby out. And one of the reasons why it was so easy is because I stuck to the bean diet. Your body will be healed, but you cannot eat unclean. Okay, a lot of people don't want to hear this part. This is the main part. Unclean. What do I mean by unclean? I live by the Leviticus life. That's what I call it, Leviticus life. So everything in Leviticus that the Bible says that we can do and that we can't do, that's what I live by. So when it comes to the dietary things, you want me to get him? I'm still recording. Whenever it comes to the dietary things, I only do what the Most High says that we can do. So that was the foundation of me getting healed. I do not eat pork. I do not eat shellfish. I don't eat eagles. I don't eat rabbits. I don't eat anything that the word says is unclean and that it's an abomination, I had to completely cut that out of my diet because it was giving me parasites. And also it was causing my blood to clot up. This was the number one reason why I could not have a child, a healthy baby, and why I could not go through my pregnancy all the way, because my body was unclean and it was messed up in the inside. Okay, so I started living the Leviticus life. I started eating according to Torah, and my hair grew. My hair was like that long. Well, a little bit longer than that. It probably came like right here. But that's nothing compared to this. You know what I'm saying? I started to the hair from my hormonal imbalances, it started to thin out. It didn't completely go away, but it did start to thin out. It doesn't grow now like it used to. So my hormones started to become balanced because the beans, the peas, and the lentils will balance your hormones naturally, especially if you're not putting flesh in the pot with it. Okay, that's important. This diet consists of mostly the beans, the lentils, and the peas. That's very important. Yes, I did eat chicken. Yes, I did eat beef, but mainly it was the bean diet. Okay. All in all, what ended up happening was I conceived my son, and I had him on March the 6th of 2024. It was an unassisted birth. Like I said, it was not very hard. The pain was not excruciating, and I didn't have to worry about bleeding a lot. I didn't have a lot of blood clots. I didn't have any blood clots at all, and a lot of that was due to me. In the morning, I took cayenne pepper. Before I went to bed, I took cayenne pepper. If the doctor is telling you that you are at risk of preeclampsia, get you some cayenne pepper. Get you a little baby spoon, the one that they feed the little babies with, like the 6-month-old babies. You're going to take a teaspoon of that cayenne pepper in the morning. You're going to take a teaspoon of that cayenne pepper before you go to bed. You will not lose your baby. You will not have preeclampsia. If you done had a stroke, if you had a heart attack, if you are in the process of having a heart attack right now, put some cayenne pepper inside of your mouth and see if it do not stop. Because cayenne pepper thins your blood out and it pushes it through. It opens up your blood vessels. And also, if you have any type of bleeding inside of your body, cayenne pepper goes to that area and it seals off the bleeding. So that's what I use. I did not bleed a lot after I had my baby. The Most High say that if you have a boy, you're unclean for a certain amount of time, and if you have a girl, you're unclean for another certain amount of time. I bled for, I think, either a week or 2 weeks after I had my child. After that, there was no more bleeding. Okay. A lot of that was also because of the bean diet, because I was in tip top shape whenever I got pregnant with him. I was in tip top shape whenever I had him. And it was a lot because of this bean diet. So the things that are a part of my bean diet, I'm gonna run it down to you, tell you everything that I use. If you want recipes and you want advice on this bean diet, I can go into that a little bit more. You have to let me know that you want it, or else, like I said, it'll just come by and by. But if you comment and you tell me that you want to hear about it, then I'll tell you what it is. All right, so I use any type of beans, any type of lentils, any type of peas. Inside of these dishes, I make sure that I incorporate turmeric, cayenne pepper, black pepper, onions, tomatoes, sometimes avocados, but the onions and the tomatoes are a major part of this. I also use cilantro, basil, parsley, rosemary, because I'm giving my body all the nutrients as I can on this high fruit diet. Okay. So I'm trying to make sure that it's not any other herbs that I used to use. Oh yeah, I drank red raspberry tea also. Tea was also a big thing with me. Peppermint tea, red raspberry tea, raspberry leaf tea, and also I drink hibiscus tea a lot. And I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna do another live, and I'm gonna give y'all all of the methods that I use to be able to get pregnant, to stay pregnant, and to unclog my fallopian tubes, which was causing me, outside of having blood clots, my fallopian tubes had scars. So the way that I got rid of that. Okay. So thank y'all for coming. Thank y'all for coming and watching. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for your donations that you give to my ministry. KARDAYAH'SSoul.com is my website. You can come there and I'll have all of this stuff that you're hearing right now. You'll be able to find these videos there, and you'll be able to find much more information on what I'm talking about and the things that I teach. You wanna get it? You wanna come to mommy? And the things that I teach as any type of method. Y'all, this my little baby.
And the big one.
And this the baby that I had in the bathtub. Okay. So yeah.
And I helped deliver.
And I y'all should have seen how he flew out. He came out like a fish. He just went under the water and came up, and I grabbed him. My husband grabbed him up and gave him to me. But yeah, little baby, can you say hey to the people? No, can you say hey? You don't want to say hey? No. All right. Well, yeah, I'm probably gonna come back and do like 2 more lives. Today is a live kind of day, but yeah, before I start cooking dinner. If you want to know more about how I conceived this little baby, un momento, how I conceived this little baby and stayed pregnant with him and delivered him successfully in an unassisted baby, you gotta wait. I'm almost finished. Unassisted birth, water birth. Then I will make another live or another video and tell y'all every method that I use. Okay. All right, y'all. I got to go. Shalom.